Hello, my name is Control Jones, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'll be giving my thoughts on Trump's big budget, big budget, big beautiful bill. Do I think it's perfect? No. But do I think it's a step in the right direction for America as a whole? Yes. Does it have some parts in it that's going to upset some people? Yes. Does it have some parts that's going to affect some people? Yes. But I believe this bill overall is meant to encourage those who work and encourage an America that doesn't just participate in wasteful spending, but participates in wealth building. And so with this bill, it's going to cut some programs, obviously. And for those who don't know, it's been estimated that 14 million people will lose certain coverages, but that's an estimate, not an actual thing. The light went out, and it didn't come back. It's all right. I'm gonna keep going because I have this light. But no, I think with that light, I think with that regard, I think with Trump's bill, I think it's gonna really do more good than people actually know. A lot of bad's been talked about it, but I think it's gonna do more good than harmful. And so I want to go into the details of the estimate where they say 17 million is going to lose health coverage. That's based on a number that's over the next 10 years. Mind you, it's not all at once. Get that first detail out the way. Second, it's based on the system not upgrading and being as it is. So right now the system is flawed. It doesn't really have a good setup for having people report, do certain things. It's not actually going to affect those who actually can't work and have a doctor's note, unless for some reason you drew the short end of the stick and everything that goes against you and you can't get anything done. Will I say that happened for a couple people? Yes, but I think that's rare. But my suggestion is the bill doesn't control the system upgrading itself, so states can make a new thing where they can comply with the bill, but also making sure that people aren't getting screwed. So I think that's the state's responsibility to ensure they're complying with the bill, but also ensuring that their people aren't getting screwed. You could do two things at once. You don't have to just sit there idle and say this bill caused it and doing nothing. I think that's dishonest. I think that's really just using something to continue your evil to blame somebody else. And yeah, no, I think that's wrong. All right, the next portion is the tax credit and all the tax hikes, if you will. I think for most people, and this is outside of the bill, I think if you budget it correctly, and this is for if you make enough money, and I say $75,000 post-tax, if you make $75K as a family post-tax and you budget, I think you should be all right. And then this family is the size of 4 people. Now, once you start getting 5 to 6, I think you just need more capital to help you out. I think if you, at 5, I think comfortably 80 is post-tax, 85 post-tax, 6, 90, 95, maybe 100 post-tax to budget effectively. And I'm not saying it's gonna be a life where you can do a lot of stuff. You do some stuff here and there, but for the most part, you're disciplined. But I would say comfortably, this is my opinion, comfortably, I think most families of 4 should be making around 85 to 95 to be okay to still do some things they want, but be mainly disciplined. And then if you're 5, families of 5, 6, I think around 105, 110. This is post-tax, mind you. 105,000 a year to be comfortable. I say comfortable, I mean just okay to follow your plans, but still you could go out to eat here and there and whatnot. You're not just like Charlie and Charlie Factory when the parents are all asleep in one bed. Not like that. Some people do sacrifice, wants to have greater things later on, and that's a testament to them. They sacrifice having the want now to have it later, and they have their needs met. So, I mean, a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to sacrifice their wants. They want to keep their wants, and sorry, that's not how life works. You have to do something to really get more out of it. So I think for the most people, this bill is going to help them out because it's going to incentivize you saving your money. And I say incentivize by by putting certain things. If you do this, there's a tax or X, Y, Z. You're gonna save your money and then invest it or create a business. Invest in yourself. If you don't trust putting your money in the stock market, if you don't trust buying a policy or anything like that, if you don't trust any of that, invest in your own skills. If you're making 75K to 100K a year, you have skills. You have something. Look into how to market, make that marketable, make that something. There's too much opportunity out here for people to sit around and just wait for my money to come. Now, if you're somebody who likes the corporate system and you're going to stay in the corporate system, by all means, you have a different path. You can't, expect more and not get more. You got to put work in to climb the corporate ladder, and climb the corporate ladder is hard in these days because it takes some brown nosing, and that's my opinion. It could be different for some companies, but I think a lot of corporate companies require some brown nosing to climb the ladder, and that's just a personal thing. And when I say brown nosing, I don't mean you don't got to be a total brown noser, but I'm saying some where you got to yield in some you got to yield yourself in certain areas and just do what it is they're asking you to do. And that's not necessarily brown nosing. Brown nosing is when you're going over the top with it, doing above and beyond what they're asking you to do. I think that's where people get mistaken why brown nosing. But I'm not getting that to the whole situation with that. But I do think with everything that's going on in America, I think this bill will help it, instead of stepping down, it's going to start, okay, let's take a small step up. Just a small one, not a large, just a small. Because in order to take a large one or multiple steps up, you got to have people in the right place. You got to have people want to do the right thing by people and still understanding, okay, I got to follow this rule. And it could be, if it's not a totally bad rule, then you can, be like, hey, this rule has some room for my interpretation. I interpret it this way. Let's try to help these people out. Now, if you're somebody who is in position and you can't help anybody out because of the rules and regulations and red tape, then you just can't, and you just have to lay it out and be like, this is why we can't do it because of XYZ, and that's that, and there's nothing I can say against that. But I do think the big beautiful bill, I think it's big and beautiful, remains to be seen, but I just say Trump's bill is something that I think is something that can be a positive if people utilize it the right way, and it's not abused and it's not taken advantage of to keep doing wrong or mismanaged funds. Because if you look at it, there's an estimate about $100 billion a year, if not more, that's mismanaged by the U.S. government. That's way too much. I think mismanagement comes from people taking advantage of a system, and they're either stealing it or they're incompetent and it's being wasted on something that's not needed. So, and I served in the military, so I kind of have a little bit of insight of wasteful spending, but I'm not going to get into that detail here. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Just my initial thoughts. Obviously, it hasn't had the time to be effective. When it first came out, people said all these negative things about it. Sorry, I scratched my nose. All those negative things about it. But I think in the next 6, 7, 8 months, we should start seeing some policy enforcement of it, and start seeing if it's actually going in the right direction, and if it's not, seeing if it's actual policy or if it's the people, like what's going on, why is it not doing what it's supposed to be doing. And so yeah, that's just my thoughts. And if you watch the end of this video, thank you. God, I appreciate you, and God bless you. So have a good rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and take care.